Okay, everybody, first and foremost, I want to welcome you to tonight's fourth grade parent information night. I originally had scheduled this to be here at Charlton Middle School, but due to some circumstances beyond our control and some people that could not make it due to various things I really can't speak about because of the world we live in today, I did decide to do this virtually. The rationale behind doing it virtually was twofold. Number one, if individual parents and caregivers couldn't make it to the meeting at our school, I wanted to make sure I could at least put together a presentation that would depict the staff and kind of the outline of what fifth grade is all about. So again, I want to welcome you. My name is Dean Packard. I'm the principal of Charlton Middle School. I've been the principal of Charlton Middle School for the last 15 years. I've been in administration in this building for over 20 years. So I've had my time here in the trenches and I've gotten to know this school inside and out. And more importantly, I've had an opportunity to build relationships with the incredible staff that we have and the student body alike. And I'll tell you, I'm just going to tell you right off the top of the bat right now, those of you who have fears about middle school, I would like you to put them aside for a second. I'd like you to sit back and I'd just like you to understand that the middle level is all about a journey of finding yourself. And there isn't a single person on this call tonight from my staff that would probably disagree with that. Because as students come to us at the age of 10, they change drastically between the time that they leave at the age of 14 as we prepare them for high school. And I have two individual students on this call that you'll hear from later that'll talk about their experiences as they transitioned from Heritage School to Charlton Middle School. So with that being said, I'm just going to brag for a moment. The middle school is a great place. It's a magical place. It's a place that we dream. It's a place that we build certain experiences for kids as often as we can. And it's ever changing because the needs in society today are ever changing. And it's something that we're very cognizant of as we look at different types of layers of support for kids. When we talk about support from support team, from teachers' connections to relationships matter, all those types of things are vitally important for any successful school. We celebrate, we support, we challenge, and then we also make sure that we're there for them every step of the way. I'd like to tell you that we have what we call this middle school blanket that is wrapped around every kid that comes in here until the time that they leave. And that really isn't measurable until the fact that you see eighth graders in full-blown tears as they're leaving this school. So again, I will tell you emphatically that 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds absolutely adore us. 13 and 14-year-olds, absolutely. I don't know what the word is, but they like us, but they'll never tell us. And for those of you that are parents of kids of that age, you could probably attest directly to what I'm saying. Again, what I want to do tonight is I have some individuals on this call that I want them to say hello to you so you can put a face to a name. And then we're going to go through the list that you saw on the itinerary. I'm going to talk a little bit more later on, but in lieu of time, I want to start going through because we have a lot of people that we want you to be able to meet tonight. So first and foremost, I want to introduce to you Mr. Joe Rogalski. He has been our interim assistant principal, and he's in the process right now of becoming our full-time assistant principal as we move forward. Mr. Rogalski, are you on this call?
I am. Good evening, everybody. It's very it's with pride that I introduce myself. I'm the assistant principal here at Charlton Middle School. I've worked here for about 11 years in a variety of roles. I was the 7th and 8th grade behavior teacher for 6 years, world history teacher in 8th grade for another 5 years. I was the athletic director and the team chair for a year as well. And fortunately, I'm able to now become an administrator and be the assistant principal. Ultimately, my role as assistant principal, I have 3 main functions, as you will, with our student body. It's to protect students that need to be protected, support students that need to be supported, and to hold students accountable that need to be held accountable. Sometimes I can do all 3 of those in one scenario. But ultimately, as Mr. Packard said, the middle school is nothing but a journey, and I am here to help those students, your kids, help with that journey. And I'm very much looking forward to our incoming 5th grade class for next year. Thank you,
Mr. Rogalski. Appreciate your words. I have 2 secretaries with us tonight on this call. Mrs. Andre, are you on the call? If Mrs. Andre is not on the call, Mrs. Kozerski, I know she is. Mrs. Kozerski?
There we go. Hi, everybody. I'm Tricia Kozerski. I'm one of the secretaries in the main office. I've been at Charlton Middle School for 21 years. I started out as I worked down in the guidance office and that area, and then I was a paraprofessional for 16 years. So I was in and out of the 7th grade and 8th grade classrooms all that time. And then I transitioned to the front office, and I've been there. This is my 5th year being there. I'm just kind of piggybacking on what Mr. Packard said. It's a great place to be. It's a really good place to be. Your kids are well cared for. They are taken care of in every possible way from, in our standpoint, as being the kind of the face of CMS, whether it's they having trouble with their locker, maybe they don't know what bus they're on, maybe they need a pencil, maybe they just need some kind words, or as we like to do in the office, a little fun little dance party, or if there's questions about their schedules. There's nothing too big or too small that they are not welcome to see us at any time at all. And we extend that out to the parents as well. There's no question that is, I hear parents say all the time, oh, I know you're going to think this is a really crazy question. There's none. So anytime you need to call for anything at all, you just call us and we do everything we can to help you. So we're really looking forward to having your kids come.
First impression syndrome. You'll see Mrs. Andre and Mrs. Kozerski as you first walk in our building. Mrs. Harriman.
Hi, I'm Heather Harriman. I'm the special education coordinator at Charlton Middle School. This is only my 2nd year in the district. It's my 21st year in special education. And I can attest to the front office being relatively new in the district myself. It is a very welcoming place. I am, the person that will be coordinating with your teachers for any students that have special education services. I coordinate those services with the school teaching staff and the student support team. I also will coordinate all of the special education meetings. So you will see me if your child is on an IEP. And if you do have any concerns, if your child's not on an IEP, but you do suspect that they have a disability, then you can contact me as well if you would like to go through that process.
Thank you, Mrs. Harriman. Next up, I have Mrs. Matthews, our ILC teacher.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Matthews. I am the ILC teacher, or the Intensive Learning Center teacher for grades 5 and 6. I serve students who have significant disabilities. Our school is really welcoming to all students and really inclusive. It's something that I really love about CMS. You wouldn't know any student was in my classroom when they're in UAs because everybody just works so nicely together. That's something that I really love about the kids and the staff. Everybody is just, like I said, really inclusive, supportive, and there for one another. Speaking on the SPED staff, I mean, we have a great special education program. It's constantly growing, and, it's a great place to be. So I've been here for 2 years, and I'm going to stay here forever. So
We appreciate those words as well. We have our nurse, Mrs. White.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, perfect. So hi, everyone. My name's Amanda White. I am probably the newest member here at CMS. I have only been here since the end of April, but I love it so far. I can attest to the fact that everybody is so welcoming. I think your children will feel the same way. When I say I am literally in your boat, I mean I am in your boat because I have a 4th grader in Dudley, so I know how it feels to be a parent and have your kids going off to middle school. As far as nursing goes, I've been in the district since 2017 as a substitute nurse. And prior to that, in my 15 years of nursing, I've done a variety of roles. I've been a pediatric nurse. I've worked as an emergency room nurse for several years. I've also managed an ICU. So I'm going to take good care of your kids. And if there's anything that you need from me medically at all, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, Mrs. White. Mrs. Messier. Mrs. Messier, are you on the call? We're going to switch to Mr. Bartlett while we wait for Mrs. Messier. Mr. Bartlett?
Hi, everybody. Sorry. I'm Mr. Bartlett. I am the band and general music instructor. So you got a 50-50 chance of your student having me or Miss Fontaine, one or the other. Either way, can't go wrong. And I look forward to working with everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Bartlett. Ms. Fontaine, if you're on the call.
Hi, everybody. I'm Miss Fontaine. I am the chorus and general music teacher. Like Mr. Bartlett said, if your kid is in general music, they have a 50-50 shot of having either of us. Either way, we have a great time down in the music department, and we're looking forward to working with everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Fontaine. She also moonlights as our show choir extraordinaire, one of the coaches involved with that. So great opportunity for kids. Mrs. Wilds, I didn't mean to forget about you if you're on the call, our school psychologist.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Charlton Middle School. We're so looking forward to having you be part of our family. I am part of the student support team, AKA known sometimes as guidance. My office is located off of the main office area, and I am here to support your students' social emotional learning, as well as to support the parents through middle school. So I myself as a parent have survived middle school, and you can too. So we're here to help and have fun along the way. So welcome to Charlton Middle School.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilds. Adjustment Counselor Galicia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Courtney Galicia. This was my first full year at CMS, and it was an awesome first year. And like Katie Matthews, I can't wait to make this my forever home. And I think that your students are going to feel the same. It is true that, come 8th grade, there's going to be the tears if they don't want to leave the building that they might have once been so afraid of. But my job, piggybacking off of what Mrs. Wild said, I am there to support your children with social and emotional support. A lot of times, sometimes kids just need help with conflict resolution, solving like the little problems in their lives that they're really not sure how to go about, up to the bigger problems that they really need adult support in navigating. So again, like Mrs. Kozerski said earlier, no problem is too small or too big for us to help out. And I'm also here as a parent resource as well. And I look forward to meeting all of you and working with your children.
Thank you, Mr. Galicia. Appreciate your time. Just so you know, the structure for our 5th grade teams, we have 2 teams. We have a team of 4 and we have a team of 3 for the upcoming year. A little bit of a difference as we only have 7 sections at this point in time. We have to support 145 students. I do see our numbers have gone down from the past, unfortunately, and I'm looking forward to seeing that growth, hopefully, as we move forward. But for right now, we do have 7 sections. So with that being said, Team 5-1 teachers with us tonight. I do have Mrs. Gill, if you want to just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about 5-1.
Good evening. I'm Laura Gill. I'm the math teacher next year for Team 5-1. I've worked at CMS for 17 years, but I've been in 5th grade for the last 13, and the 5th grade is just the best place to be. I love all the teachers that I work with, and I couldn't ask for better friends and colleagues up there. And we're looking forward to meeting our new 5th graders.
Thank you, Mrs. Gill. Appreciate that. We also have Mr. Bolio, who's going to be, we call him a transplant from grade 7 down to grade 5. He's going to be a crowd favorite. Mr. Bolio, come on. He's going to teach social studies on Team 5-1.
Yep. Hi, everyone. My name is Jeff Bolio. I'll be the Team 5-1 social studies teacher this year. I am a transplant. I had 4 years in 7th grade, and I'm really excited to start my 5th grade career as well, along with your kids. So looking forward to meeting everyone and working with everyone in the fall.
Completing Team 5-1 will be Mrs. Garapi and Mrs. Kimball, both of whom could not be here tonight due to family engagements, but they want to at least express their desire to say hello to you and how excited they are to be working with your kids coming in the fall. Let's switch over to Team 5-2. And on Team 5-2, we have Mrs. Kovacic. Mrs. Kovacic, you on the call tonight?
Hello, I'm Wendy Kovacic. I am going to be on Team 5-2, and I will be teaching math and a block of history. I've been with the district about 14 years in various roles, and I'm looking forward to meeting all of our new students and helping them transition into a new school year. Have a great summer.
Thank you, Mrs. Kovacic. Appreciate your time. We also have Mrs. Lyons teaching ELA. Mrs. Lyons, you on the call tonight? I wish I could see everybody on the call. I just can't see it while I get the recording button up. If Mrs. Lyons is not here, Mrs. Anderson, who will be teaching science on a 3-person team. Mrs. Anderson, are you on the call?
Yeah, I am.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think Mrs. Lyons is here, but
That's okay.
I will be teaching, on Team 5-2, 3 classes of science, 1 class of history. We are excited in the new team format. We all are a very cohesive team, everyone that's working together. And we are excited to have your students come in. I've been teaching at Charlton Middle. Next year will be my 22nd year, mostly in 5th grade. So we know how to make sure everyone feels comfortable and get through all the, the nervous Nellies in the beginning, and by the time the second week of school comes, or maybe, end of the first week, everyone is very comfortable, and we make sure we take good care of them.
Thank you, Mrs. Anderson. I also would like you to hear from Mrs. Hannon. Mrs. Hannon's very humble. She won't probably tell you this, but she is retiring after a long and great career in the Dudley Charlton Regional School District. And when she said to me, should I be on tonight? I said, absolutely, you should be on, because the wisdom that she has had in helping our district become what it is paramount to a lot of things that we're all about. So could I have Mrs. Hannon just stop on for 1 second and say a couple of words as a team leader, please?
Yep. Hi, I'm Mrs. Hannon. I heard the word family come up over and over again tonight, and that's the way I feel about Charlton Middle School. We really are a family, and we really are nurturing, especially with your fourth graders, because we recognize how young they are, and we recognize that kids come in with a lot of different anxieties and nervousness, and by the time they leave that first day of school, they feel really wonderful going home. So don't worry about anything. We literally don't expect them to know how to do anything when they come in the first day of school. There's so much that they'll learn that first week, and some kids will grasp it sooner than others. But as far as learning the schedule and the lockers and finding their way around the school, so I can guarantee that your children will really love the school. I'm just going to hop on for a second and say something about Miss Broder. Miss Broder is our 5th grade special ed teacher, and she can't be here this evening either. But she's a wonderful teacher. I'm not sure how long she's been with the district, but it's been many, many, many years. So she may be teaching math or ELA with some of your children, but your children will love CMS.
Thank you, Mrs. Hannon. We appreciate that. If I could, I also have our grade level paraprofessional on, Mrs. Brown. If you'd like to speak from that lens, that'd be great.
Hello, everyone. My name is Crystal Brown. I'm heading into my 5th grade as the fifth year of 5th grade paraprofessional. And I can tell you from past experience that this team that your students are going to be entering in, they're probably the best team that your children could ever meet. Nurturing, loving, caring are utmost their top priority before anything else. Your children will be loved on and cared for no matter what. My 2 children went through the district and thrived, and I'm coming with a wealth of knowledge as well. I've been in education for almost 30 years, going from paraprofessional to teacher to an administrator, and now in my later years back to a paraprofessional. So your students are in great hands at Charlton Middle School. So I'm looking forward to a wonderful year.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. Appreciate that. I didn't even pay any of these people to say this, which makes it even better. So it's good stuff. You're hearing a lot of adults speak about Charlton Middle School, and, I could probably speak for hours, but I thought it'd be prudent tonight to have 2 students come on, 2 students in leadership, one from the Student Council and one from our NJHS. And I want them just to talk to you a little bit about their transition from the Heritage School to CMS. Now, mind you, we're coming right prior to COVID and all that stuff for them when this all happened, but it's very interesting to hear maybe some of the trepidations they had and some of the things that made them a little bit anxious, but how they really have morphed into amazing young people as a result of the experiences they've had here at Charlton Middle School. So in really no particular order, let's start off with Nina Julian, our Stuco president. Nina, why don't you just give a little bit of background about your journey from the Heritage School to Charlton Middle?
So hi everyone, my name is Nina Julian, and as Mr. Packard said, I am the Student Council President for CMS. So first off, I just want to say that don't worry about your kids coming up to CMS. It is an amazing school. I spent some of the greatest years of my life here. But
that's okay. We call that balance. That's home life. Yep.
So first off, some of my biggest fears, because Mr. Packard asked me to speak of those, were, as I noted them here, I was very worried because I was told by my older sister that teachers were very strict, that you had to be on class, you had to be at class on time, and that, your assignments need to be turned in on time. And I was so worried that I was going to be on my own. But I had an amazing couple of teachers who they made sure I got to all my classes on time. I was never lost. I knew where I was going, what I was doing. and supported me through all of that. And I think the hardest part of middle school is probably getting up an hour early. Personal here. But otherwise, CMS is an amazing school, and I'm sure you all don't want to listen to me go on and on all night, but I just want to say that looking back on my first couple of weeks at CMS, I had no reason to worry. I had everything I needed, all my resources and all my support. So you don't need to worry, and neither does your kid. So if you only take one thing out of my time here tonight, it's okay to worry, but you don't need to. But thank you all so much for listening, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Nina, thank you so much. Spoken from the heart, and I really appreciate that as your principal. Colden Blackwell, he's going to come on next, and Colden is a very prominent young man who's really taken stride in who he is going to become. He's the NJHS president, and more importantly, he's just an amazing kid, just like Nina, who really wants to have their voice heard, and more importantly, really build themselves up prior to leaving our middle school. So, Colden, why don't you jump on now?
Hi. Good evening. My name is Colden Blackwell, and I'm the president of the National Junior Honor Society. I am here this evening to talk to you about my transition from the Heritage School to the middle school. I was nervous going into middle school like most kids. It was a new school, and I was going to be with kids 3 years older than me. I can tell you that this is not true. As a 5th grader, I was far away from the 8th graders, as they were on the other side of the school. Another thing that I was nervous about was getting lost and being late to a class. This in reality is very difficult to do, as there are signs up around the whole school, as well as a great staff that could help me when I needed it. The one last thing that I was nervous about was memorizing a locker code and opening my locker. The teachers really helped me with that. A tip for all of you parents, you should consider buying your child a combination lock. That way they can practice over the summer. One final great thing about middle school is that it's helped me become the person I am today. It gave me the opportunity to learn an instrument in band, which gave me a new passion. I was able to join the middle school jazz band. Because of all this, I now have the opportunity to play in the Shepherd Hill Marching Band as an 8th grader. I have also had the chance to go to the state invitational race for cross country. Whether it is music, sports, or after-school activities, I hope your child can find a new passion. The Heritage School gave me a good foundation, but the middle school and its staff helped me become who I am. Thank you for your time, and I hope your children have an easy transition into middle school.
Thank you, Colin. I don't think I could have done a better job myself with that. You and Nina both should be very proud of the way you spoke tonight. So thank you very much. I know Erin Messier is on the call right now. Erin Messier is one of our special education teachers who is in charge of ELA. So, and if I could just have her come on for a second, that'd be great.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Messier. I'm going to be teaching reading classes and an ELA class as well. This will be my 4th year going into CMS, and it truly is home to me. And that was one of the things Mr. Packard said to me when I got hired on the job. He said, "Welcome home." And it really is a second home to me. And I adore the teachers that I work with. They're so supportive. They're smiling faces. Your child will be loved, cared for, and have a great education. So you really can't ask for more than that. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. We appreciate your time. Do I have any staff members that I missed? Now will be the time to come on if you come on the call late. And seeing none, I will move forward very quickly, and I just want to do a quick overview of expectations before I open up the parent questions. I think the variety of voices tonight kind of shows a little window into what middle school is all about. When we look at our staff and we hire new staff members, what we look for are people with it factors, people who can really cultivate meaningful relationships and then sprinkle in content to help kids understand and grow at their pace. We look at the overall continuum of learning and what that looks like. We have an inclusive mindset, as Mrs. Matthews said earlier. We want every student, when they get out of bed in the morning, want to come to school. And in order to do that, your story has to be right spot on. It has to be kid-centered. It's got to be filled with experiences, and it has to be filled with individuals feeling as though they're part of the learning community. You as parents are also part of the learning community. It's important to know that. As you begin your journey, you're going to find out that our teachers will communicate often with you, most likely weekly. You'll be getting some sort of correspondence in some capacity. Your principal, myself, will be communicating with you every week about what's going on in school. You will have resources at your fingertips, and more importantly, you're going to start to feel the momentum as you begin to build the relationship with your middle level counterparts, which will be us. It takes a village to raise a kid through middle school. And I will say that until I'm blue in the face. Kids vacillate on the drop of a dime, emotions swing. And I'll tell you what, anybody who's a parent who has multiple children will be able to tell you, you know what, it isn't always easy. But the more structure we provide and the more opportunities we provide for kids, the more learning that takes place. And I'll tell you what, as Colden said earlier, every student's at a different place. And the beauty of the middle years is you find your why prior to leaving. And that's what leads to the absolute tears of joy and happiness when individuals leave middle school. Couple of essentials that I want to talk about before I turn it over to parents. Number one, schedules. And I have some questions here, and I have to apologize to you. I put out a parent questionnaire that was locked only to district employees. Now, not one parent from the outside of the Heritage School emailed me and said they couldn't get in. So I figured that there weren't any questions. However, when I recognized that, I did get a couple here that I want to talk to you about, and I just want to answer them. Every question that we get on that form, I'm going to turn around and make that into a question and answer and put it under a resource here, because we're going to share this out with everybody. First one, do students register for classes or are they assigned? They are assigned. So what's going to happen is the students are going to get 4 core classes. They're going to share a team. They're going to be on 5-1, a team of 4, or 5-2, a team of 3. And what will happen from there, you'll have your math, your science, your social studies, math, science, social studies, and what did I leave out? Math, science, social studies, and science, social studies?
English.
English, thank you. Yeah, there's a day for you. Thank you, Trish. That's the secretary. How did I forget that one? Nevertheless, yeah, it's been a long day. There's no doubt about it. Then you're going to have your unified arts classes. In unified arts classes, you'll have 3 on your schedule for the day. You will be getting a link from Mrs. Andre about whether you want to have your child take music, band, or chorus. It's important to know that you get that information to us as quick as possible, because we want to make sure that we schedule that accordingly. And then the kids will rotate through all the unified arts experiences throughout their 4 years here. So we'll be working on a trimester schedule next year, which will mean we will have 3 trimesters throughout the year, and during which time the kids will migrate through and they'll have an experience that is very interesting for them to be able to be that whole child that they need to become. The second question I had right here, what sites, platforms do parents use to receive school communication? Weekly e-news that I send out is a SMORE platform. It's a platform that allows me to put in information that is pertinent per week. We used to have a newsletter that we did all the time, but the newsletters became very cumbersome. So we tried to cut it back to just short weekly blurbs of information that we think are important for the week ahead. Generally speaking, that'll go out on a Friday or a Sunday, depending upon when I catch up with all the work at the end of the week, but it will be as consistent as clockwork once the school year starts. You'll be getting multiple emails from me throughout the summer, just leading into the little things that are very important as you begin to start getting ready for the beginning of the school year. What extracurricular activity offerings are there for the 5th grade? We have a lot of after-school activities. We have a lot of clubs that take place. We have 3 trimesters worth of clubs. There are 3 8-week sections that take place. If kids have a club that they want, it's in their mind, they can actually bring that to our attention. Then we try to find a teacher to match that experience for kids. We do have cross country. We've had cheering. Most interscholastic, well, the MIAA supported clubs of sports, baseball, softball, basketball. Those are all for 7th and 8th graders. We very rarely, we've never gotten down to 5th grade at this point in time. We have gotten down to the 6th grade, but nevertheless, there'll always be something for kids to get involved with. We're always looking for new things to offer as well. Next question that I had, if we're unable to make the cookout, do students need to make an appointment to come into another point? So the cookout, so you know, on August 25th is set up to simulate the day for the kids. If you can't make that cookout, we are here all summer long. And that ability to come in, we can personalize tours for you. I highly recommend you come in. I have Mrs. Kozerski, I have Mrs. Andre, myself, Mr. Rogalski. We're here all summer. You just email us ahead of time if you're feeling as though your child needs that just little extra edge, we'll do that for you in a heartbeat. We do that all summer long. But the idea is to take away as much anxiety as possible, and more importantly, get the kids ready to be on day one where they're just buzzing and humming about their new school. And ultimately, that's what we're trying to accomplish here. So with that being said, I can field some questions from parents, and then I could go a little deeper. You guys didn't come here just to hear me talk, but any parent wants to speak, feel free to chime in or raise your hand so I can see. I got to close this, and hopefully I don't close out the meeting by doing that. And okay, let me go here. There we go. Any parent who would like to ask a question to anybody on this call, you can do so now. Got a raised hand, and it looks like Courtney.
You met us on the tour today. Aiden wanted to introduce himself. So.
Hi, Aiden.
Hi.
How are you? Good to see you.
Hi, I'm good.
Thank you for coming on tonight.
You're welcome. He's really
Hi,
very
Aiden.
excited.
Welcome to your new school. We're looking forward to having you here.
Yeah, your teacher was over there. He wanted to see who his teacher was and everything. So
Right there, waving, top corner.
She's ready. Here she is. She's right there.
Hi, welcome to CMS. We're so excited to have you.
You too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and speaking. We appreciate you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Any other parent? Feel free to chime in, jump in.
Hi, this is Nicole Capuano.
Hi, Nicole.
Hi. What is the homework workload like in 5th grade?
That's a fantastic question. And I'll tell you from a leadership standpoint, my belief in homework and what I think, how it correlates back to adolescent development. First and foremost, kids have one shot at being the age of 10. You know, I do believe that kids need exercise, they need opportunity for growth, but they also need to be a kid. And the more that we look at it in that capacity, the more that we can balance out the expectation outside of the classroom. I can honestly tell you, kids get an hour experience in each core class, so that's 4 hours of direct instruction, and then they get 4 40-minute opportunities in the unified arts classes. So that's a lot for kids. And again, I know our teachers work very hard to ensure that homework is, number one, meaningful, that it's purposeful, and that it has a direct impact on exactly what is being studied. As for time and amounts, I'm going to allow, at this point in time, someone, we'll go with Mrs. Kovacic from Team 5-2, and then I'll allow Mrs. Gill from Team 5-1 to speak.
So for time, I can speak about math. If we do a math lesson in class and everyone understands the math lesson, we'll probably assign anywhere from 1 to 15 problems. We don't expect anyone to work longer than 30 minutes on math at night, and that's not consistent every night. It's if the lesson was successful and everyone understood the lesson, then homework is assigned according to a student's need and what they're able to do. So we take everything into consideration. We do not overwhelm any student with homework. For history, I don't believe we have much history except for maybe studying for any quizzes or tests that they might have. Ms. Bolio, Ms. Gill, do you want to talk about your side for math?
Sure. Mine's very similar to Mrs. Kovarchek's as well. I tend to, if I am giving homework for the evening, I let the students start it about 10 minutes before class is over. That way, if they have any questions on it, I'm there for them to answer them ahead of time so that they don't go home saying that they don't understand it. And usually students will go home, you know, with another 10 to 15 minutes to finish up. Sometimes there is ELA homework on our team a few nights a week, but generally for science and history, it's mostly studying for upcoming quizzes. So it's not too bad, not overwhelming at all.
And I'm just going to piggyback on that. It's quality, not quantity. And it's one of the things that we preach throughout all grade levels here. Okay, we do recognize the fact that it's a busy day for kids. It's a big shift from being at the Heritage School. I won't lie to you, there's embedded rigor, but that embedded rigor looks different for every learner. And we have a tiered intervention support system and what that looks like for access to curriculum, all the way down from our ILC program to our higher level achievers. And our teachers, through differentiation, do a really good job at ensuring that they're challenging, supporting, and building up students as they go along. Great question, Nicole. We could probably go on and, for a long time on that question, because philosophically, I am not a type of guy who's going to say we're going to bury kids with homework, because I don't believe in that, because generally speaking, it becomes the parent's responsibility. Did that, done that, did that. I have the ticket and I have the badge for that. Okay. And the more I look back at that, I say, what did a child get out of that? We'll go back to saying it's a partnership between home and school. I would say if there's any struggles in mathematics or in reading, it's our responsibility to have interventions in place in school. We have them fully and firmly in place. When we look at our literacy program, we have 2 reading teachers for the 5th and 6th graders, which have small group intervention programs set up for them. But even in the math department, our grade level teachers have what we call win blocks or exploratory blocks, where they can work in small groups with kids to fill gaps. COVID was real. Okay, we all know that. And we know that and I don't want to use the term learning loss because it's been beaten down left and right. But when you're not in front of a teacher in direct instruction face to face, it's very difficult to be able to sustain the momentum that we had pre-COVID. But we have a real responsibility to be able to look at those gaps, close those gaps, and help every child become successful. So that's kind of my soapbox version of what I feel about helping kids and how we're going to support them. And our teachers are amazing at doing that. Great question, Nicole. Thank you very much. Next parent.
Mr. Packard, can I just add something about
You
the
sure
homework?
can. Yeah, please.
So,
Anytime.
well, I just wanted to say, I know that sometimes the parents and the students get nervous because the kids are going to have so many teachers now, subject teachers, right? Especially now that we're doing 4 subjects on one end and 3 teachers on the other end. And I want you to know that as a team, we typically work together, not to overload them in one night with homework or with quizzes or with tests. So if there's an upcoming test in science, for example, I would talk to my team members and make sure that they're not giving a test on the same day. Or if it would be, then it would be something small, like a spelling test or something. So we try not to overload, like we always are talking together as a team. We work very cohesive like that to not overload them in the different subject areas.
Thank you very much. Next parent.
I can go next if you like.
Please.
My
Yeah,
name's
sure.
Annette. Sorry, it says A, I think.
That's okay. Nice to meet you.
Anyway, thank you for putting this together this evening. I think this is allaying a lot of fears for all the kids out here. I think what you just said about the homework was huge. And then I love the person who just spoke talking about teams and working together as a team. And so when will the children learn their team assignment? I know another parent just mentioned that their child wanted to meet their teacher. Did I miss a communication or will that be forthcoming?
You didn't miss a communication. And
Okay.
quite frankly, the shells are totally complete.
Okay.
We're in fine tuning mode. What happens if we put something out and then we have to shift, I feel as though I get egg on my face because then I got to fight and say, but I wanted this team or I wanted that team. So until we're 100% firm, I'm just slow to say it's going to be. My hope was before Thursday. I'm meeting with our
It's
student
not going to
support
be
team
in the
tomorrow.
summer.
I would love to be able to get it out, this week.
Okay.
We're right there. Okay.
Great.
We have just the finishing touches to put on. And it's a little bit different than it has been in the past because we've worked under 2-person teams, but with some of the fiscal cutbacks that we've made, we had to be strategic with certifications. And therefore that's why we're now with a 4-person team, which is synonymous all the way from grade 5 to grade 8. So again, it's there. We're doing our best to ensure we're meeting all the needs. And all I can say, it's coming really soon. And as soon as I do, you'll get a BCC email from me saying, this is the team that you're on. And if I can get it out by Thursday, I will.
That's perfectly acceptable. I thought we were going to be waiting till August. So
Listen, we
that's
used to
wonderful.
send it out the day before school started and say, hey, good luck, guys. Don't call us. So we've evolved over time. And, if one thing COVID allowed us to do is to really have that perspective, to really get ahead of things and really work on it and have them all prepared. So again, there are multiple moving parts. People still come into our school during the summer, new faces. We just want to make sure that everything is perfectly set up before we unleash what's going on. Great question, though.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Appreciate it. Next question by any parent. It's
Hi,
okay. Go ahead.
I have a question. Hi, so Kristen Martin. I saw a notice shoved into my 4th grader's backpack, which will indicate, some exciting organization coming up for 5th grade. But about there not being a library not being a librarian next year. And so I don't know if I've missed other communications about that, but I wanted to see, are the children going to have access to the library unsupervised? Are there things that parents could do to help ensure productive library time if that's the case? And then as an offshoot of that, again, did we miss the boat? Is there summer reading that I'm supposed to be keeping her on top of?
Great questions. You got a bunch of them intertwined right there. So let's start with the summer reading. You'll be getting a summer reading list this week. It's coming out. We have it formulated right now. Again, what we're doing is we're trying to celebrate and get to the finish line together collectively as a group right now, and to keep kids happy and keep them as fresh as we can all the way until Thursday at 11:15. As for the library, if you've been watching the school committee, the budget that we put forth this year did end up cutting our librarian. That doesn't mean that we're not going to have a library. Mr. Packard and my great group of educator friends are now tasked with making a Starbucks style library, 21st century extraordinary place where you can go and get books, go there, be yourself, be a kid, just kind of do all the things that are kind of making it as modern as we possibly can. I will roll that out and what that will look like sometime during the summer. As soon as we all kind of catch our breath and catch our tail closing out this year, you will be peppered with communications from me in that regard. I do know that our librarian has taken a position as an ELA teacher, so she'll be on our 6th grade ELA team. So she is still with us in the building, and I'm sure she will be a valuable resource for me as principal and librarian of the building. And I'm sure we will have a lot of fun with that. But no, the library is our biggest room in the building, and it needs to be the most lively room in the building, because without literacy and without reading, we don't have anything for kids. I can tell you right now firsthand, the greatest schools have literacy embedded in everything that they do. So our job is to make our kids as competent readers as we possibly can. So please note that I am excited about the opportunity. I might even order a larger bar stool kind of seats for the kids, some phone chargers. I don't know. Maybe I'm starting to show my Mrs. Kozerski. Don't shake your head at me. She's old school like me. But we are evolving into what we have to become, because that's what we have to dream about, tomorrow's schools for our kids. So thank you for that question. Did I hit on all of it, or did I miss something?
No, that's great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Next question.
Mr. Packard, if I may.
Yes.
I just wanted to backtrack a little bit. You had mentioned sending out an email or notifications that we send out to the parents regarding our music program. And that when that comes out, and if somebody needs paper copy or something, they can, of course, call and we would send it out. But you will have a selection of either general music, chorus, or band. If we do not receive anything for your student, they automatically go into general music. So if you really have a preference with what you want your child to do, whether it be our fabulous chorus program, our band, anything like that, just keep your eye out for that form and that email and get that into us so that when the schedule building occurs, they can be in the right place. So I just wanted to let people know that.
You're going to see in the email that I sent out to you guys, there's a 5th grade expectation link. Click on that. I had the team leaders just put that together. It basically just tells you everything that the 5th grade teachers would expect from your kids. Okay. Again, the middle school is not the big ugly monster that everybody thinks it is. Actually, we're the warm, fuzzy, furry monster that just loves kids. And I'll tell you what, we don't stop. We don't stop until every kid feels good about who they are, where they're at, and how they're going to become better versions of themselves. Every day on morning announcements, we talk about that. Every day we build them up. Every day our staff works in conjunction with one another to create the best experiences possible. So please think about that for a second and what that might look like. I'll tell you what I think is the most difficult thing for 5th graders is riding the yellow Cadillac. Okay, that bus, that free version of transportation. My recommendation to you there is that you tell your kids to sit in the front of the bus, okay, to look forward, to mind their business. There are bigger, I don't want to use the word creatures because that's what they say, kids behind them who are advanced in their abilities to be able to socially articulate things that may not be ready for their ears. We're on that all the time. Every bus has video. We're watching that. The bus is a privilege. It's not a right, okay? And we are constantly ensuring that sometimes we have to have kids be brought into school because they have violated that right, because it's not fair for kids in the vicinity to hear anybody talk as we wouldn't want to be talking at the dinner table. And I can leave it like that. And that's how we talk to kids. If I'm a guest in your home and I'm with you and your grandparents sitting at the dinner table, say the words that are going to make your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your grandmother, grandfather proud of who you are. And that's how we try to create that subculture of belonging and understanding about what we're all about. Any other questions? Yep. Jenica.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I'm a teacher at the high school, and I was just curious about like at the high school we use Google Meet and like Google Platform, Google Suite. Do the kids need their own devices for Charlton Middle, or are they kind of just got stuff that they can borrow, or what are the options there?
Perfect. Great question. We're not a one-to-one school. We have 12 Chromebook carts. They have access to Google Chrome all the time, basically. The teachers share those. We do use the Google Suite. The one thing that COVID taught us is there are multiple tools, such as tonight, folks, because I can record this and send it out to all those who can't be there, that make our world a little simpler and more efficient. So also remember, grade 5 students go through a whole computer class with Mrs. LeBron, and they do the whole Google Suite, and they educate them how to use that, how to become efficient with that, and how to become more productive with their overall needs for to understand Google within their applications. So we're very excited about that. Do I wish we were a one-to-one district? Yeah. You know, we face a lot of financial pitfalls. Even with Amazon coming into Charlton, that's going to mean a little bit of more money, but at the end of the day, we aren't there yet, and I hopefully someday that we are. A lot of textbooks now have online versions, which is great. And most of the families have access to internet at home, which is fantastic. But the internet is part of our world, and we have to make sure that we're using it in a correct way. The biggest downfall, and I will say this, if I was talking to 7th and 8th graders, this thing right here, this thing, as much as I think it's a great communication piece between home and school, this is the bane of our craziness some days, okay? Because social media means apps, means connectivity with kids that's unsupervised. And quite frankly, what happens is we get drama central. And sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of times kids do silly things on this that they would never do if they were talking face to face. So maybe, Mr. Packard, if I'm that visionary principal, I may have a week of put down that cell phone and let's talk to one another and revitalize that skill of communication. I'm saying that right now. I don't know if I'll do it or not, but I know adults who can't handle this thing, but yet we want 10-year-olds, 11, 12, and 13 and 14 to use these as a tool. So as a staff, we look at this as a tool to help us. I believe in kids listening to music. I believe in kids using this in any other way. I don't want them reading on a phone, but I know that the connectivity to mom and dad and caregivers is extremely important, especially given the world we live in. Speaking of that for a second, I'm just going to run on a tangent for a second. Our school is locked. It's in a locked mode. No doors are open. People aren't getting in after they come into school in the morning. Okay. We make sure exterior doors are locked. Nobody gets in without going through Mrs. Kozerski and Mrs. Andre. They're like pit bull dogs. Okay. You're going to see my face every morning outside. I watch people. I look at cars that come in. I wave to every parent. I hold conversations. I know when things aren't right. At the end of the day, Mr. Rogelski's out there. He's scanning. We're looking. We are aware of our surroundings. And I get chills when I hear what goes on around the world today. I really, really do, especially even in our own country when the sad things happen. Okay. But again, all I can tell you is we have crisis planning in place. We continuously meet with the fire chief and police chief about what that looks like. We invite them into our schools. We have an active community about making people feel safe, and safety is the number one first important thing for students and staff that I take extreme pride in. And that goes district-wide from the superintendent's message down. So anybody else? Question? I actually enjoy this. This is your time. Anybody? I'm not going to say Bueller because that's going to date me. Okay. Anybody who knows that movie? All right. Listen, we want to thank all of you for being part of this tonight. These types of forums only create relationships and connections. That's what we're all about. We're going to continue to connect with you, continue to build momentum, and most importantly, make you feel as comfortable as we possibly can, okay? That's our job. That's our goal. And at the end of the day, this is your school. We're partners with you for the next 4 years. Tomorrow, I will address 191 8th grade students. With this place will be jam-packed with parents. And I will tell you this, my 8th grade speech hasn't changed over the years. their jaws will be dropping and they'll be like, oh my God, this is what the middle school has provided to us. You guys are just coming in to get a piece of that. And I can't wait to get to know all of you better. And more importantly, to be able to help and support and be there for everything that you need. Folks, anybody on my support staff, anybody here wants to say anything before we go?
Yes, Nicole
Mrs.
has
Gazelle
her
does.
hands raised.
Oh, Nicole, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Come on back on, please.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to be that person who's going to like ask the question at the very end of the
Please.
meeting.
Yep.
Sorry. But I just wanted to ask, there's no recess, right, for fifth grade. And that does make me a little sad because it feels like these kids are still so young. So how does that work? Do they have any free time, quote unquote? But just curious. Sorry for the last minute question.
Nope, that's fine. Listen, and I think it's a great question. It's probably a question that a bunch of people want to know. So back in 2000, when the schools opened up, we registered with the Department of Education as a 990-hour school, which is synonymous with the high school. The only reason why Dudley Middle School has what they would consider a small little recess is because their cafeteria has a patio adjacent to it. So it works out for them. They have a 20-minute lunch. They eat for 10 minutes, go outside for 10 minutes. So it's really not a recess. So neither middle school has a bona fide recess. Now, you want to talk about brain growth and brain movement. Our educators are trained to understand that you can't sit still for 60 minutes. You just can't. You've got to have movement in the classroom. We have a PE teacher who loves to make sure that she gives out ideas and scenarios on flexible seating, movement within the classroom, getting kids up and going. And you know what? And you have to do that, not only for 10-year-olds, but for kids who are in 8th grade. Let me tell you, you walk by a classroom, and look at Mrs. Gleason saying that. You walk by a classroom and you get a teacher talking like I do, because you know what? I have a tendency not to stop. It becomes very overwhelming for kids. The average person can sit still for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then they have to have some sort of activity to release. We are aware of that and what that looks like, but we're also under the guise of getting standards out to kids. So our teachers do take that 60-minute block. They do move them. 5th graders have snack. They get up, they do working snack, they walk, they move. Every time they leave their core classes, they're walking a country mile to the other side of the building to release their energy. And you want to know something? Lunch, and I can tell you at lunch we have 20 minutes. They eat in 5 and they socialize for 15. So what we try to do is our best to keep them just kind of structured in an area where they can feel as though they can release, but they're not just getting so chaotic that we have to just redo the rules. So Nicole, to answer your question directly, our middle school does not embrace a recess, but we do embrace brain development and the movement within the learning process.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There are no monkey bars out back. We're not going to be playing wall ball. But I will say we've gotten really good at going outside with our kids. And that's one thing that with COVID and the mask and the breathing that we did a lot of, what did we lose doing that? I mean, the research will tell you gain a child's attention if you can get them up and moving. It really does. So you just have to be strategic in what that looks like. And I do believe that my staff is pretty good at that. And we're going to continue to work consistently to try to make that better. Any other questions? All right, we're coming up on 6:58. I did allocate 1 hour for this. I want to thank all of our staff members for being here. I want to thank all the parents for being here. I am going to stop the recording at this point in time so you guys can hear me do that.